Hallo Leute da draußen. Was war das denn wieder für eine Begrüßung? Ja, zusammen mit Eike. Hallo Eike.
Billy Joe, Billy Joe, silly,
Silly Billy
Joe.
Die werde ich jetzt erstmal behalten. Nicht wahr, Eike?
Ja,
Ich habe so viel Kohle in die reingesteckt, in diese Bestatterin. Hier, da hätte ich mir 20 Spiele von kaufen können. Ja, guter Einstieg. Ja, also Leute, willkommen zu GENSHIN IMPACT. Man hätte es vielleicht nicht gedacht. Ja, und jetzt machen wir es auf zum großen Basar. Ich muss ja nicht erwähnen, welche Quest wir machen, nicht wahr? Steht im Titel. Das Einzige, was vielleicht falsch sein könnte, wäre die Folgenzahl.
natürlich.
Ja, da komme ich auch ein bisschen durcheinander. Ich habe letztens auch gemerkt, 161? Nee, ich habe noch eine 161. Moment, muss ich die Thumbnails nochmal neu machen.
Paimon's trying to remember. What else did we put on our shopping list?
Tampons.
Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. Paimon would know the aroma of biryani anywhere. Let's go get some. We can still add it to the list.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon. Wasn't expecting to see you here.
Das war ein Zufall.
Hello there. Oh, it's been quite a while.
Yeah! Eike, es ist Dunyarzad. Nicht wahr?
Ja.
Die mögen wir alle. Die, aus 1001 Nacht.
So you two are still hanging out together. Dehya, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back to the desert?
Cesarade, genau, so hieß die doch, oder? Genau, das ist ja angelehnt, oder?
Fassade? Ist wie das?
Ich meine schon, oder? Naja, bei 1001 Nacht, könnte sein.
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends.
Wir sind Besties.
The Homayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them up.
I told Dehya to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dehya wasn't around.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was gonna head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dehya. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
Doch nicht mal auf über Rest zu reden.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though. There'll always be next time.
What? She said they'll treat you to the best dishes. Paimon can't believe you can still refuse that.
Das kann Paimon gar nicht nachvollziehen. Was? Du willst nichts essen?
Bist du
But
besoffen?
wait, didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? Why don't you just take me with you today, when you leave?
Paimon ist ein fliegendes Loch. Also, für essensmäßig gesehen.
There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Ah ja, und wegen dieser König Descheret-Geschichte, nicht wahr?
Descheret.
Descheret, genau, ja, ja. Und sie, ist ja klar, dass sie rausgehen will. Sie war ja die meiste Zeit nur im Bett.
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
Oder in einer Zeitschleife. Naja gut, es war nicht eine Zeitschleife, es war eine Traumschleife. Kann man eher sagen, Eike, ne?
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
Daran erkennt man übrigens, dass sie auch ein besonderer Charakter ist. So wie denn, diese Pupillen-Eike, nicht wahr?
Das sind Löwenaugen.
Ja.
Man fragt sich, wie die zustande kommen. Ich meine, wir kennen die Schlitzaugen von den Schlangenmenschen, wie Shenhe und...
Ja.
Quatsch, wie Chongyun und Yelan.
Du meinst die
Wir
Drachen?
kennen die Blütenaugen, wir kennen die Blütenmusteraugen wie Hutao und Arlecchino. Nee,
Ja.
was Arlecchino? Die Gothic Jula.
Und vergiss nicht noch die
Mit
Augen
den
von
Kreuzen.
Aida?
Na, hier ist eine Göttin Dechan, da ist scheißegal. Die Götter zählen nicht.
Okay,
Also
die
Venti,
fallen raus.
Ai, Morax, die zählen nicht.
Die können ruhig auch 3 Augen haben. Theoretisch. Ja. Da könnte was hinter sein.
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like... I feel like something is off about you lately. Ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious and even paranoid. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
Would you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further if you're willing to swear on what you just said.
Das ist wahrscheinlich wieder so ein Söldner-Ding.
But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You know I'll help you however I can.
Oh, looks like Dunyarzad was onto something.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble.
Erinnert mich an Namen der Rose, wo der eine Priester mal gemeint hat, zu viel Wissen vermehrt, wie war das nochmal, Eike? Zu viel Wissen vermehrt das Schlechte. Nee, Quatsch. Ach komm, ich kann nicht richtig zitieren, ich bin dumm.
Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly the best place for a discussion. Okay, let's talk here. Just try not to draw any extra attention.
Als wenn wir nicht auffallen würden.
As you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora.
So wie Söldner halt funktionieren.
My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave. However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Was war Absicht? Eike? Was sagst du mit Wasser Absicht?
Ich hab einen dicken Rülpser rausgelassen, aber er wurde weggefiltert.
Ja, genauso wie mein Rauschen, was mein Mikrofon manchmal jetzt hatte in der letzten Zeit leider. Vielleicht liegt es an den Update von OBS. Vielleicht geht das jetzt doch besser. Hoffen wir auch, dass mein Commentary jetzt auch besser wird, Eike, nicht wahr? Ja, später darauf ein. Die üble Version von der sind Söldnern. Deschrets Vermächtnis. Ah, sind also wie die Söldner aus Jecho. Erinnert sich noch jemand an Jecho?
Deshret's relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Küche, aber wer war nochmal Al-Hama, Eike? Eike?
Ja.
Wer war nochmal Al-Hama?
Al-Akbar. Al-Akbar.
Ja? Aber da fehlt ein C. Oder K?
Yep,
Al-Akbar war
you
ein
got
Charakter
it.
von
I've heard that
Al-Hajaret.
you've already
Ach
crossed
so.
paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar. The Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dekhan al-Akmar.
Dekhan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years.
Ja.
Anyway, the real issue is that Dekhan al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Say what now?
Say what?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now. But what did they do?
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Ah, die Wüste von Sumeru ist ein hartes Pflaster.
Hundreds?
Yep, the scenes tend to be quite gruesome too. They stripped the victims of all their valuables before murdering them. Not only had they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own kind.
I don't know how Deshret's relic sees it. All I do know is that Dakan al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last few years. If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father do such terrible things?
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But at least in the past, there were still a few lines that he wouldn't cross.
That's setting the bar pretty low.
Würde mich interessieren, weswegen der sich so entwickelt hat.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women. Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she ever step in to stop them?
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry, Dehya. I didn't know.
It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person. He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case, she never came to see me. He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. The one thing I do remember is that he used to tell me stories.
Heike, ne? Am Ende wird das hier so eine Jon Snow-Story, nicht wahr?
Was?
Weiß schon. Er hat mal gesagt, ja, du bist das Kind von irgendwem, den ich mal unterwegs getroffen habe, von so eine Schankmaid oder eben Prostituiertengeschichte. Nein, stimmt gar nicht. Am Ende, du bist gar nicht, eigentlich bist du der König. Verstehst du, was ich meine?
Ja, die Prinzessin von die Tochter von König Deshret, ist klar, ne?
Könnte sein. Also, sie hat zumindest schon die passende Accessoires.
But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
More or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but after about 20 repeats, they started to get a little dull.
Hätte sich ja ein neues Buch besorgen können, nicht wahr, Eike? Aber das ging ja, glaube ich, nicht.
He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play. Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords. It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish, but that was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him. Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, they would even openly boast about them.
All die guten
No
Sachen.
one
Ja,
in the
all die guten
brigade was
Sachen.
any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down.
Deswegen wollte sie von denen weg, weil sie nichts mehr mit denen zu tun haben wollte. Macht Sinn.
Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings. The difference between perception and reality must have hit hard.
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me.
Herausfinden, mehrwürdige Taten.
Yeah, I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
Lieber auf der Überholspur des Lebens.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you not to worry.
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid concerns.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
Ist ja nicht so, als wenn ich mich überall einmischen würde.
Well, he's super tough, so if he went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem will be solved in no time.
Es wäre auch ein ziemlich langweiliges Spiel dann.
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took him along to help. I'll wait for news from you in the city until then. Please, stay safe.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady. All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Rebot, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
Mantichora, erster Akt, Blut der Löwin. Okay, wir können ja zurück einfach hin. Obwohl, nee, erstmal reden mit ihr, nicht wahr, Eike? Sie wird ja danach jetzt ewig nicht mehr hier stehen.
Please be careful. I'll stay in the city and wait for news from you. Just don't do anything reckless, all right?
Ah, ich doch nicht. Okay, ich hätte jetzt echt erwartet, die würde jetzt hier an der Vase hängen bleiben, Eike, was? So, okay, dann tippen wir uns mal rüber zum, ja. Karawanenribat. Zum Eingang der Wüste, wo diese komische Wand hier ist, wo ich ja nicht so richtig verstanden habe, warum wie die eigentlich funktioniert, weil die ist ja teilweise offen, Michael, oder? Genau, ne? Die hier, die vor dem Wüstensturm die Stadt fernhalten soll. Oder besser gesagt, den Dschungel. Ah, der Game of Thrones Anspielung, da ist sie schon wieder. Ah.
Hey, Dehya, you're back. Are these two friends of yours? Oh, so you've already become like one of us then? Well, that's good to know. Anyway, since we've got a newcomer, let me fill you in on what the Khan al-Ahmar's been up to lately. They've become extremely aggressive. Apparently, even their own now have become acceptable targets. They even attack other relics brigades, just the same as any other mercenary brigade.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. But it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected enough loot off the other mercenaries, they sell it off to a different brigade, or turn to merchants on the black market. A portion of their profits is immediately exchanged for more food and weaponry to be used in their next violent operation.
That's terrible!
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why they're so desperate for Mora. A few days ago, Isham and I trailed them for a while, and even disguised ourselves as merchants to conduct trade with them. We were able to learn a few things from the exchange.
Was könnte es sein?
Rather than saying they're out to plunder and hoard Mora, it'd probably be more accurate to say that they're experiencing an internal power struggle.
Wait, a power struggle?
Ist das etwa so wie im Spiegeluniversum von Star Trek? Jeder versucht, gegen anderen zu übertrumpfen? Ne, Eike, so steigt man auf. Den anderen mal ein Messer hinten reinstechen.
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are mercenaries from the other brigades of Deshret's relics. If their only goal was Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attacks points to a power struggle between the different brigades within the relics. That's the only plausible explanation we have. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find out anything more specific. It seems they're also trying to keep things under wraps. Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as the Khan al-Ahmar became more and more active, Deshret's relics as a whole became a lot weaker.
Ja, das macht das Ganze wirklich verwirrender.
It sounds mighty strange to me too. Harun, you can leave the rest of the investigation to us. Gotta say though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone. Sounds like you were really putting your necks on the line, no?
Nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are. The Khan al-Ahmar is your father's crew after all.
What he said. Besides, Dehya, haven't you done more dangerous things than all of us combined?
Oh,
What
wer
we
ist
did
das?
is nothing compared to your experiences.
Yeah. And while they went to talk with Khan al-Ahmar, I took a look at the last camp they attacked. Any survivors of the attack were already long gone. There was nothing of value left in the camp.
Ah, Hisham and Khalaf. You're here too.
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Rebat. Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind the ears, I'm sensing a special vibe from him. Now that we know you'll have a capable partner with you, we can also rest easy.
Das weiß ich nicht, Eike. Wie lange benutzt du diesen Spruch? Das findet ihr nicht raus, weil das wurde rausgeschnitten.
Hey, what about Paimon? Feel anything special?
Oh, you're also planning to tag along with them?
Du bist auch da?
Of course! Paimon is the traveler's most important guide. Wherever he goes, Paimon will follow.
Und die niemand bemerkt, nicht wahr, Eike? Niemand bemerkt Paimon. Niemand sagt irgendwann... Niemand hat bisher in den ganzen Spielen mal gesagt, was ist das denn für ein Ding? Oder?
Einmal am Anfang ist das dein fliegendes Maskottchen.
Einmal, ja.
Albedo fragt, bist du mit diesem Wesen verbunden? Ayato möchte in seinen Geschichten alles über die Reisen des Travelers wissen.
Ja.
Naja, es
Ja.
gibt schon ein paar, die was wissen möchten, besonders Albedo.
Ja, aber die
Ist
normalen
sehr
Standard
interessiert an ihr.
Ja, aber die normalen Common Folks, ich kann mir Leute wahrscheinlich nicht dran zu stören.
Oh. In that case, then you'd better take care of her too, Dehya.
Don't underestimate Paimon!
Wir werden Paimon nie unterschätzen, wenn wir haben das Video gesehen, Eike, nicht wahr? Lies nie meine Gedanken.
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the traveler here. Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge by appearances.
Oh, one other thing, Dehya. When you're free, why don't you update the deputy about your upcoming schedule?
Was macht der Typ da im Hintergrund, Eike? Ist das so eine Art Pantomime oder was macht der da? Ja. Leute, schreibt jetzt in die Kommentare, wenn ihr wisst, was diese Bewegungen darstellen sollen.
We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Main. You weren't around at the time, so people were pretty disappointed to only find our crew of rough, unkempt guys. The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was basically for nothing. Only a few people chose to stay, and that really got to him.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time. I left in a hurry and I couldn't make it back in time for the event.
Kleiner Fehler, Likör ist nicht Wein, aber egal.
Gotta admit, I can understand their disappointment, though. You're our brigade's main selling point, after all. Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way to bring a few more smoking hot members into our ranks.
Genau, so kriegt man Mitglieder.
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all just froze up with your mouths gaping like a bunch of scarecrows. The awkward silence and weird expressions left quite the impression on them. They were originally interested in joining us, but after that, they both told me they were too uncomfortable to stick around.
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never heard about this?
I don't think you were part of the brigade yet.
Are you kidding me? I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that and you weren't even gonna tell me?
Echt mal richtig Frauentreffen? Sowas geht doch gar nicht.
All right. We can tell you about it later. Now's not...
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here and tell me everything right now.
Ja, bewegt den Butt hier rüber.
Komm her!
Are they always like this?
More or less.
Bescheuert?
There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercenaries. We're used to just speaking our minds. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at them. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge them to a fight. But we also don't tend to take many
Schnapp
things
sie
too
euch! Steck sie
seriously.
mir in den Arsch!
Being direct and getting it all out of your system as soon as things come up is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about it.
Ich bin mich irgendwie an Scooby-Doo erinnert.
That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to it. Though, I can never do that when I'm with the Homayanis. Hey, knuckleheads! Can you at least tell me the rest of the intel before you go back to your bickering?
Ja, ihr Knöchelköpfe.
Yeah, you hear her, Holof? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation first. I drew up a map. Right here's the spot. There you'll find the merchant caravan responsible for getting rid of Dekhan al-Akhmar's looted goods. All you gotta do is wait and ambush them in the evening. They'll have no idea what hit them.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regards to everyone else in the brigade as well.
Will do. You stay safe, Dehya.
Endlich. Ich dachte, das Gespräch hört niemals auf. Was macht der Typ da? Egal. Ja, gut, dann machen wir es dann auf die Handelsstraße und versuchen dann mal die anderen Söldner aufzureiben, die ja, sich nicht gerade konform verhalten im Vergleich zu allen anderen, nicht wahr, Eike? Okay, aber das sehen wir in der nächsten Folge, oder? Ja.
Ja, ja.
Ja, es geht ein bisschen länger hier, ja. Und ich hoffe, der Kommentar war gut. Trotz Löchern und Fäden im Zahnfleisch.
Ja.
Muss-
Ja.
Aber hey, auch
Hättest du mal
Wie früher
hättest du mal
gemacht.
Dehya gepullt. Aber jetzt hast du nur das Mädchen, das die ganze Zeit einen Geist hat, das durch ihre Gebärmutter fliegt.
Ja, tüdelü. Aber wer kann sie ja noch öfter polen in der Zukunft? Also, Dehya meine ich. War jetzt nicht mehr, aber naja gut. Also Leute, bis dann.